Can you share a little bit about yourself and the type of shoulder pain you were experiencing before working with me?
Sure. So I kind of did the calculations, and it was about 3 or even maybe 4 years ago that my shoulder started hurting. And I don't know that it was ever like I could ever pinpoint it to like one thing that did it, but I just was starting to realize that in my aesthetics practice, I was having a really difficult time with some of the massage moves that I do. In particular, it was crossing over. And I worked with a personal trainer for a while, and I was starting to have problems with some of the rows that I was doing, so much so that I wasn't doing those motions any longer. And then I'm really good at ignoring pain for a long time. So I finally mentioned it to a doctor, and I was like, hey, I feel like maybe I need some PT or something. And so they sent me to a physical therapist that gave me the same, oh yeah, the same things. And I just wasn't getting any better. And it's funny. The reason I started working with you is I saw you, I think it was either Facebook or Instagram, and you're like, are you tired of doing the same exact motions and having no results? And I was like, I'm literally living this life right now. Yes.
Into me, yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, what do I have to lose? 15-minute appointment? Let me do it. So in the 15 minutes, I don't know what you told me that convinced me to do an hour, but I did. And then when you literally made it so I could do this motion again in that 1 hour appointment, I was like, please take all of my money because I saw that there was light at the end of this tunnel. And there has been. I don't even know how many weeks I've been working with you. I think it's close to 6 months at this point. And the last so the first 3 months were definitely like I got myself maybe 80% better, and the last 3 months has just been like the icing on top of the cake of me feeling like, "Okay, I can do these motions again, and I'm not, you know, I don't have pain anymore. I can put dishes in my cabinet without hurting." It's funny, I'm even realizing that I still protect it sometimes, and then I'm like, "No, wait a second, I can do that."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so kinda learning some, like, new habits here. Can you touch on, like, the tingling, kinda, like, numbness stuff that you were experiencing? That's a common.
yeah, so when I sleep, I would curl my hands up a lot, and I would wake up, and it would either be, my pinky and ring finger sometimes would be the issue, and then sometimes it would be the other 3 fingers, and I'm like, "What the heck is going on here?" So what is this one? Ulnar, right? And this was medial nerve?
Yep.
Yeah, and so depending on, and you would always check in with me, and I'd be like, "Well, it's these 2 fingers," and, I do my fancy little can't do it with glasses.
Yep.
Yeah, and I really haven't had to do that in a long time, but every once in a while, I'll still have that numbness, and the next day I'm like, "Well, time to do these again," and I'll do them, and I'm good for a significant period of time, and I actually had double carpal tunnel release 12 probably years ago.
Surgeries for it, like, where they, like, snip the redneck.
Yeah, where they snipped the thing, and I was still having numbness and tingling, like, what the heck? And I use my hands a lot, in my work. I also have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, so I have a lot of hypermobility that I'm sure explains a lot of what has been going on in my body that I just I didn't even quite know what to blame.
Yeah, I
Ah,
yeah, that's super helpful. What did you think about the way, like, everything was kind of structured, like, from, like, the app and, like, the exercises and, like, all that kinda stuff?
it made it very easy to be successful. And honestly, the question that you asked me when we first started working together was, "Do you have 15 minutes a day?" And my answer was, I don't know if you remember this, who doesn't have 15 minutes a day? It made it really easy to be successful because it was on my computer it was on my iPad, it was on my phone. So there were times when I literally was at the airport traveling. I've sent you these pictures. I would have the bands hooked onto the seats, and I'd be doing my TKEs for my knee, and then I'd have my bands, and I'd be doing whatever. And I'm sure people thought I was crazy, but I don't care. I wasn't gonna miss my day of PT because it was working. So it was really easy, and I really appreciated, you know, how easy it was, truly.
How did you feel about, like, the support and communication, like, throughout everything?
Fabulous. I love that you checked in literally every day, even if it was just a thumbs up, like, "Hey, I'm paying attention. You're doing your exercises." Knowing that you were as engaged in this process as I was really helpful. Because, you go to, like, your PT's office and you're there for your hour and you're like the VIP, and then you go home. You're like, "Okay, good luck. You're gonna go do this for yourself."
What's next? What's in
Yeah.
between appointments with that stuff? What would you say to someone who's, like, maybe hesitant or skeptical about, like, the, online virtual shoulder rehab stuff?
You can be more successful online than you will be in person because there's nothing like having the set of eyes watching you literally every day as opposed to being hands-on to somebody because most of the time when you're in PT they give you your weights and everything and then you're on your own anyway. I was I have been going to PT in person for so many years and not until I started working with you did I start actually feeling better.
That's
So I am I've given your name to several people. My dentist might be calling you soon because all of us body workers are all hunched over and we can't move properly.
kinda like the same position. So, like, you've seen, like, different, like, providers for this. What do you feel like was different from, like, our approach than maybe some of those other people that you were seeing in person?
Building, building. You started me with like, first of all, saying, "Are you surprised it's your neck?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not surprised." And you started me with, the chin tuck.
Yep.
They all and when I first started doing this, all I could hear was, you know, and then the progression, and then the progression. Like, knowing that you were building upon something was really, I think, helpful and different from what I've done in the past because they all started with the shoulder, and it wasn't the shoulder.
Right.
It was a lifetime of doing other things.
Absolutely. And then what about like maybe some like when you would run into like a hiccup or like a pain point, like one thing that we were kind of running into was like the reaching component and like, what like changes were kind of made. Like how do you feel like that was like during the
It was
process?
awesome because all you would say is, "Send me a video." I would send you a video, and you would say, "Okay, here's what we need to do differently." And it was so instantaneous, faster, honestly, than if I had been working with somebody that was my PT. And my PT is literally across the hall from me here. Like, he's right there. Um, Actually, my PT is in Denver or in Colorado. I don't know if you're in Denver or not. My PT is in Colorado, but the office I used to go to is right across the hall, but I wouldn't feel like I could just bounce in and be like, "Hey, I'm having this new thing that's going on," or, "Hey, I noticed this thing." Because as I would work with you and get one thing strong, it would be really obvious, like, "Oh, yeah, it's this motion," or when I'm trying to do my seat belt when I'm in my race car. Like, it was very situational. I would figure out a new thing and, certainly within the day, but usually within an hour, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, let's do this instead."
Well, on the phone, super
It
easy.
was great. It was so easy. Yeah.